Today we're gonna get this fender all lined up so we can actually cut the bed and get the bed sitting how we want it. As you can see, I've got a bigger gap here than I do over there. And if you take a step back, you can see that there is a bigger gap right here versus here, and that's just because when we mounted the leaf springs in the axle, it actually pushed the axle back, which is fine, and that's kind of better actually for the wheelbase, so I'm not too bummed about that. But either way, I need to cut and clearance these fenders regardless of where the axle was. So we're going to kind of cut a little piece off here so we can scoot the bed to where we want it, get all the mounting holes and everything, and get the bed mounted so we know exactly where to cut. I do need to clearance it just a little bit so that I can scoot the bed up to where it needs to go. So I'm going to get that clearanced. So got that cut out. Now I'll slide the bed forward. Just trying to map out how I want the fenders. So obviously they're really close. I had to clearance it, which you guys saw. So what I've done is I've just kind of taken and laid out how I want this, just real quick in Sharpie, and cleaned it up. And then I cut this half. And so that's what that looks like now. Kind of hard to see. That's a little better maybe. But I feel like that looks good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this, flip it, clamp it on, and draw it out. And then that'll get me equal on both sides, and then I can kind of, you know, taper this off and taper this up, you know, how I want it. So I'm going to try and get that done on both sides, set that up, and let you guys watch. Cut how I want it. I softened out that outside, but that looks good. So gonna cut the other side, get that done real quick, make a template off of this side. Then I'm gonna put a 2x4 across with a bottle jack in the middle, and I'm gonna push it out. And what that's gonna do is that's gonna give me a little bit of a flare out the back of that. So it should look good. All right, so now that this is cut and looking how we want it, softened edges, we're going to cut the holes for the shock to come up through. So the research I've done says that it should be at a 30-degree angle. So we'll cut a hole in the bed to allow us to mount it to the axle, and then we'll be able to have the shock come through. So I've already taken a lot of the measurements, so I'm just gonna draw it out and get to cutting. Okay, got it cut out. Got the other side cut out. And so now the shocks can come up, we can start on the bed cage. Now that the fenders are cut out the way we want them on both sides, shock mounts are cut on both sides, we can start kind of mocking up how we want the rest of the truck to look. So because we're gonna tie the bed cage into the main cage, I've got to get that main cage done. So keep an eye out for that video, but thanks for watching.